story of why my family moved from Nashville, Tennessee to Indianapolis, Indiana is rather interesting. Um, I think I had mentioned before that my father was an activist in Tennessee. Um, as a secret organization, he formed a group of black men who were armed, and their purpose was to protect any black man who was slated to be hanged or by the Ku Klux Klan. Um, he was not an active participant, just laid out the plans. One of the men in the group was a fair Negro who went back and forth between the black race and the white race in order to inform the black men which person was later to be hanged. To prepare for this group was armed and would surround the house of the man who was slated to be killed. When the Klan would come to get the man, he would tell them, well, I can't go or something like that because all my friends are surrounding me in the woods or trees, the woods or the bushes. And by this remark, the Klan would become afraid and leave. This went on, I don't know how many years, but eventually the people, or I don't know whether it was a policeman, I'm sure it wasn't, but it was somebody in authority, found out that my dad was the one laying the plans for these interruptions. So one night he was picked up at his work spot and taken for a buggy ride out in the country, and faced with what he had been planning for the protection of the black men, and that he had to leave town the next morning for his safety, or else he would be killed. When he went home to tell my mother, she, being a feisty, strong black woman, said, no, I'm not leaving in the middle of the school year and taking the children out of school. I'll come when school is out. So my father left on the train that night or the next morning and stopped in Indianapolis where his brother lived. He liked Indianapolis and decided to stay there rather than go on to Chicago, Illinois. I'm glad of that because Indianapolis was then a small town and a much easier place to live than Chicago would have been. mother and the three children came to Indianapolis. By this time, my dad had gotten a job with the Pennsylvania Railroad Company, where he worked until we moved to Detroit. In the meantime, he had established a little business of selling coal and ice, blocks of ice that people put in their refrigerators to preserve their food. And in the winter time, some people didn't have furnaces. They just had stoves and that they could heat by using coal. So this was a pretty nice little business. And my sister and I loved it in the summertime because we could go to the ice house and get all the pop we wanted free and bring it home. I forget where I am now. Living in Indianapolis was pleasant, but my brother, who was the elder, it won't break in.